All right, let us welcome Anthony Taylor to the show. He has his next fight booked, and it's going to take place in the boxing ring. He's going to fight Tommy Fury, the brother of heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, on August 29th. The event headlined by Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley on Showtime pay-per-view. Anthony, it has been a minute, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing really good. Mike, doing really good.
So this is quite the opportunity for you, Anthony, being on this card with the main event that has the whole world talking right now. This is big. This is big time stuff for you.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I've been in this position so many times inside the gym when you're sparring with AJ McKee, Baby Slice, and Rampage. It's like the main event every time when you're going with those guys.
So you and I, just to give people a little bit of a rundown, when you and I were trying to move up in this crazy world that we live in, you and I did some interviews 2015, 2016, I think 2017. It was like the mid to end 2017 that we last spoke. It was early on in your pro MMA career, and I've sort of followed along on your journey since then. And you've been through a lot, man, from everything that I had seen. If I told you this time in 2017 that you would be in this position that you're in right now, would you have believed me?
Hell no. I was like 2-5 at the time, my record. Man, how I manifested so much things to happen this year. It's crazy.
And I remember sort of back in that time frame, some very dark posts on social media, because you and I were Facebook friends for a while, had a lot of people concerned about, possible suicide. Things were just really rough. And I mean, look, you're in your late 20s, you're trying to figure out this crazy thing called life. And then things began to sort of turn around for you. Antonio McKee reaches out, and it seemed like he said the right thing at the right time, and things turned the corner for you. What was going on in your life at that time, if you don't mind me asking?
I was dealing with a lot of personal issues with family, relationship, fighting, living situations, not just one particular thing, but everything coming together. It was more like, fuck this. I don't want to be here no more. Like, I'm giving up. I'm a quitter, and I think, Antonio really helped me out because he really helped me, and damn, it's been so long, I just really had to take control of my life. At the time I let Bellator control my life. I never really had control of my life, of my career. And this was the first time I actually took control of my life, my career.
How big of a presence has Antonio been in your life? Like, not just in the gym, not just because of that moment in your life, but I mean, obviously something has to trigger you to make these changes in your life. And it seemed like Antonio was the guy to help lead you in that direction. So, I mean, just overall, how big of a presence has that man been for you?
Well, give me 1 second.
Sure.
He's been in my career since the day I started MMA. He's been like a father to me, brother to me, a mentor to me, overall everything to me. He's the reason where I'm at with my career too. I'm not going to take all. I'm not going to take all the all the glory of this. He's the reason where I'm at. He gave me the opportunity to fight on Bellator. He gave me the opportunity to express myself. He gave me the opportunity to travel the world and see life. Antonio has done a really good job on handling my personality. He's done a really good job of handling the chemistry with me and AJ and everybody in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, you still get some of that pretty boy swagger going on. There's no doubt about it, but it's definitely toned down a little bit. Like, you found like sort of a happy medium between, I guess, humble guy, but the pretty boy swagger. Like, you found like a sort of a happy medium between the two. Is that fair to say? At least that's what I see.
Absolutely. Antonio is a jokester himself. He's a very hardworking man. He's one of those guys who are in the gym with every fighter too, training, sparring, grappling with everybody.
Do you remember, and the last thing about this, and then we'll move on, but do you remember sort of the turning point where you felt like things were back to normal for you? Like you'd crawled out of that hole? I mean, maybe it's just a fight you have to deal with every single day to not get back there. But do you remember when you felt comfortable with yourself again? And that, like, listen, I was wrong. This life is worth living right now.
I don't think any of us are actually comfortable with the way we live every day. I think we're all working on getting out of our comfort zone every single day. We can never truly understand who we are ourselves. you know, um, everybody's different. And, with me, I think it starts with the foundation of who you are. How's your relationship with your parents? How's your relationship with your friends? How's your relationship with yourself? And not a lot of people is willing to accept that or accept the truth about that. And being comfortable in those environments or situations, especially when you're a fighter, there's an eye in fighting. There's an eye in fight. There's two eyes in fighting. The eye is me, the eye is the other guy. I am fighting you. And the comfort zone of that, it takes time. You never know when. It can be like, hey, I win this fight, win two more fights, I'm a multi-millionaire like Conor McGregor. Then I can be like, okay, I'm comfortable. You just never know when you're comfortable. Even though Conor's where he at, Conor's not comfortable because look at what he's doing.
It's a great point.
So you can never know when you're comfortable.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at this. And we talked about Antonio, now seeing what freaking AJ's been able to do. My God, becoming a world champion, defeating Patricio Pitbull in relatively short order. I mean, that was an unbelievable performance. How did you react to that, watching that all go down?
I knew it was going to happen quick. AJ's a fast starter. He ends the fight the way he starts. He's going all out. AJ's not taking no shortcuts. AJ takes the hard way around things. And look where he's at. He's a champion, multi-millionaire. Taking no damage and no fights. He's in a good position.
I mean, look at him, but look at you right now. You've come back. You've won 5 fights in a row. You're about to be on this big card at the end of the month. You're out in Puerto Rico, freaking training with George St. Pierre and John Danaher. I mean, this is quite the change from where you were a few years ago, isn't it? Isn't it kind of like surreal to think about?
Man, it was like, I'm thinking like, whoa, I'm with the GOAT, like George and John. I'm in Puerto Rico with Jake Paul, and every other fighter out there. Like, man, like, I'm the coolest MMA fighter right now. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm the coolest MMA fighter. Jake Paul is the top 10 guy that everybody talks about in boxing. After this fight, I'm going to be a top 10 MMA fighter that everybody's talking about in MMA. I'm going to be trending on social media on Twitter. Watch.
All right. So for those, you mentioned it, for those who follow you on social media, you and Jake Paul have been apparently traveling the world together. You're getting the rounds in. You've been doing it for a little while. When did you first meet Jake Paul? Like, how did this relationship begin?
Well, it was funny because I was talking crap about him on Twitter. And his coach, BJ Flores, was like, hey, if you want to fight Jake Paul, why don't you come down to Miami and spar? I'm like, sure, when? Just jokingly. I'm like, never going to happen. So BJ was like, spar him next week, Miami. Come on down. Here's the address. I'm like, holy shit. I'm really about to spar Jake Paul. So I fly down to Miami. I go to Miami. I'm like, man, we about to really get it in. All of a sudden, we go Rocky 2 at the end of the Rocky 2 scene. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Bam. we do our thing. We had our difference on social media. And then, after the Ben Askren fight, he's getting ready for the, Tyron Woodley fight. He calls me up. Obviously, I made an impression. I did something right in the sparring match. I'm not going to talk about the sparring match, because I don't talk about sparring. But I done something for him to want to bring me back. Jake could have called anybody else in the world. Any UFC fighters, boxers, but he decided to call me.
I mean, because I have to say, I was kind of surprised about your involvement in this camp because this whole thing is being structured as, at least like on the marquees and how the storylines go, it's boxing versus MMA. It's fighting MMA fighters and taking on some of the bigger names and trying to prove a point to MMA. And, you've been involved in this sport for several years. You've been on a roll competing inside cages. Well, a big chunk of the MMA community, the fighters, et cetera, they seem to be all against Jake Paul, hoping Tyron Woodley just destroys him and we put an end to the circus. Like, and you're out there sparring with them and training with them and building this relationship with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you, like, after that first sparring session, do you no longer look at it like other MMA people do? Like it's boxing versus MMA, but more of two guys just trying to get each other better. How does this all work?
Well, here's what people make mistakes. A lot of these fighters make mistakes. They look at Jake Paul as a YouTuber. He's not a YouTuber. He's a boxer. He's a fighter. And the mistake where people get is, oh, he's a YouTuber. When I flew to Miami, and the reason why I got called back, because I didn't look at Jake Paul as a YouTuber. I looked at him as a fighter. Anybody, I don't care if you're a plumber, firefighter, a police officer, a nanny. Hell, I wouldn't even care if you're the DEA. The DA, it's a district attorney. You step in that ring or a cage, you're considered a fighter now. Especially when I'm in that cage with you or that ring with you. I don't care who you are. If my mom step in that ring or cage, you're a fighter now. If you're telling me you're risking your life against the other person the rest of your life, you're a fighter. You don't put on that police uniform just because you want girls and showboat for a gram. You go in there and you put on that police uniform, you put on that firefighter uniform, you're risking your life. You're now saying, hey, I'm a fighter for the people. I'm a fighter for myself. Overall, I'm a fighter. So that's the mentality I had when I went to Miami to spar Jake Paul.
So he got your respect after that sparring session. We don't have to get into the details, but you walked out of it, you were like, damn, I respect this guy.
Well, I knew he was training. I knew he could box. I mean, damn, he's like 6'2", 220. I mean, shit. You've been doing it for 3 years, so you better know how to box. And Jake's improved a lot, man. This guy's unbelievably good. Don't be surprised if you actually see him spar Canelo in 3 years.
What's interesting about Jake is like, and you could attest to this being in MMA, people talk about like Colby all the time. Like he has this character, Colby Covington, ruffles feathers when the cameras are on. He's playing the villain, but those in his inner circle, if you will, those close to him, a lot of his training partners, they say like how good of a guy he is. He's not the same guy as you see on camera. And Jake and Colby are obviously different people, but Jake comes off a certain way on television, but he's a promoter. He's trying to promote fights and get people to watch. Like,
true. Jake is Jake. Who am I to tell Jake can't be? A lot of people say, oh, well, he's a YouTuber. Well, shit, no one brings up the fact that I was a stripper, got into MMA, for being flamboyant. What Jake does, Jake speaks his truth and his facts about other people or what he does. I don't get involved in that. That's him. That's him engaging with people. I listen. I watch and I listen. Because Jake is Jake. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, Jake is telling lies. Jake is telling the truth. That's something for the fans to see and follow through and see if he followed through on that lie or that comment. Like he speaks up on fighter pay. I don't know about the UFC on Dana White and their pay. So I don't speak on that because I don't know. I'm not in that position. I've never received backlash on fighter pay. I don't know. I can't speak on the UFC and their pay structure because I'm not in the UFC. I fought for Bellator my whole career. So the best thing I can do is just watch from afar and see how things play out. I try to stay away from it.
Fair enough. I was just wondering if he is kind of different. Like, is he a cool guy? Like, I think that's kind of where I'm going in the short answer.
Okay. He's a cool guy, man. The guy's business. He's funny, friendly. He invited me over for dinner with him and his family. I met his mom, his family, his brother, I'm sorry. Jake is a really good kid. Like, very honest. Like, it's crazy. Jake paid me more money in 3 months training with him, being a sparring partner, than I did in my whole career in MMA of 6 years.
Wow.
And I fought for Bellator 5 times.
It's wild, man. It's freaking crazy. So it seems like you found yourself in a pretty good spot in a number of ways. But obviously, Jake's got a big fight with Tyron. It's on the marquee. But before that fight happens, you're going to be boxing Tommy Fury. And it's been fun to watch, man. You guys have been going back and forth with videos. You're singing songs, cutting promos on the guy. Like, how do we get to this place? Like, when did this beef with Tommy start? It's such hostility, Anthony.
Man, I mean, the day I was out there training with Jake was like, hey, I got some good news and some good opportunity for you. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I want to give you the opportunity of a lifetime to change your world, to change your life. He's like, you ever heard of Tommy Fury? I'm like, yeah. It's the guy who's been asking me out. Jake's like, hey, I want you to fight this guy. Beat him up, change your life. I'm like, woo, okay. Okay, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. And look where I'm at. I manifested this day what happened. I said on my Twitter, May 31st, June 1st, I said, I called him out. I called Tommy out. Fight me. Fight these bums. See how I manifest that. And now, all of a sudden, I'm fighting Tommy now. Because I manifested this stuff.
There's no love lost. No love lost here.
God put me in this position for a reason. You know, I can't lose. It's 3 weeks. Why lose? I got my whole life ahead of me. Why lose this fight? Why lose? I got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. If I lose, he's just an MMA fighter. He's not a boxer. I go straight back to MMA. My record's nothing belongs on my record. I beat this guy. Holy crap, this guy's a real deal. Jake's sparring partner. Anthony's the real deal. Sky's the limit for me, you know?
So you're playing with house money on August 29th.
I'm playing. I'm not even playing with house money. I'm playing with my money. I'm betting my own money because I know I'm going to win this and get it back. You know? Right now, we're playing blackjack and I just hit an ace on my first hand. Whoop! What's up? You know what I'm saying? I got 2 aces. I'm either going double down or hit me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, split those.
Split those. You know? Look, we playing poker. Hey, I got a royal flush. I'm just trying to make sure I can hit that jackpot. You know, if you got any aces, let's split the pot.
Tommy is 6-0 thus far as a pro boxer. You seem to have a little bit of an issue with the records of the opponents that he's faced. Of course, he's been trying to get a fight with Jake as well, as you mentioned. Have you watched Tommy box at all? Have you seen any of his fights?
No
have you been
need.
Impressed?
No need. I have a better job. I have a better chance watching regular amateur spar in the Olympics.
Oh, lost your video. That's all good.
Hold on. I have a better chance. I have a better chance watching the Olympics and getting more work from that. You know, I'm not getting the best out of it.
All right. So you're ready to go. You've seen everything you need to see already.
I've seen everything I can see. He's only as good as his last fight, and he looks sloppy as hell.
All right. So you have seen something on him.
Yeah.
And not impressed.
Not impressed at all. What they say, hey, you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. And Tommy looks at me, and you are? And I'm like, absolutely.
Speaking of MMA, because you said whatever happened, like if you lose, you just go back to MMA. You did fight your last fight for Bellator. Are you under contract with them, or is that just a one and done?
That's a one and done. I'm free agent. If UFC wanted to pick me up, they would pick me up. Bellator wanted to talk to me, we could talk. But right now, I'm a free agent, and my focus is on Showtime. Showtime, baby, because I'm Showtime.
And if you win, you're still planning on doing MMA as well? Still
Who knows?
Going back?
If I win, I might stay with with boxing. Who knows where I go?
All right, hold on one second. Chad, if you can hear me, just hang tight for like 2 more minutes. All right. All right. So how does this one all go down, Anthony? How do you set the table for Jake? How do you kick off the festivities in Cleveland, August 29th? What's the headline going to read?
Second round TKO. Pretty boy does pretty quick work. Tommy Fury.
And what's the prediction for the main event? Because I don't think you're going to go out there and say second two.
Fourth round TKO, Jake Paul.
All right. So we're going to go to the 4th round here. Anthony, I got to say, I'm very happy for you, man. Like, you have been through a lot. You've come through on the other side. Big things are happening for you, and a big opportunity awaits you August 29th in Cleveland. Any parting words for Mr. Fury before we say goodbye?
Hey, Fury, hope you and your family are healthy, COVID free. Hope you have a healthy weight cut. Looking forward to meeting you. Come professional, come on weight, come on time. And let the best man win, or the pretty one win. Of course, it's me. And let's make it happen.
All done. Awesome, man. Thank you again. All the best to you the rest of camp and in the fight later this month, man. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.